There's a reason why children don't vote. It's not only because they cannot make that, but it is a conditioned belief of belief over belief over belief over belief. It's based on conditioning. And children, we are all children, in truth. We start off as babies. Consciousness is actually manifested through that. But isn't aware of itself. In other words, it doesn't know of itself through the form yet. But it is there. And as we get older, we are conditioned, or we have that experience of conditioning. And then therefore the separation. As I grow into more consciousness and more awareness of this, it becomes more awakened. It goes back to that awareness that is, oh, now as a child, I don't have, it's not necessity, so to speak. It's not a desire because there's no attachment. So therefore, if it happens, it happens. It doesn't, it doesn't. People really refer to this as neutrality. But it's deeper than neutrality. It's not the absence or the presence of choice. It's just when a choice is made, it is made through consciousness. So in other words, you can say that instead of having purpose, as Eckhart puts it, I saw in one of his videos, the recording, that when we have love, it doesn't make sense, because having love means that you are not love, which doesn't make sense because we are. And so when you have love, it's almost like you're trying to find it. It doesn't make sense, right? So similarly, when you have, I believe in something, I have a belief about something, I have an opinion, or purpose in this case. So purpose is out of reach when you are itself purpose. You are the consciousness. Out of consciousness, our source stems everything else. So whether we choose to or not choose to do something, there is something there. And even watching Dolores Cannon's videos before, it's like we're all in this. We're just playing a role. Personally, in what I've seen, how I've come to see it is that as I grow into this and become more aware and conscious and aware, literally, and being with anything I go through, specifically emotions and relationships, that's what this video is about. It's just there. So similarly, when I live with my parents, so my parents went to vote. I didn't get to, and that's what it is. And they started. You can sense them if you were to see them. They get into this unconscious behavior again, of like, oh, I should vote, and then opinions are passed on. In other words, advice, opinion that's passed on, or opinions that's even probably imposed on other people is an advice. And so then a picture, my father showed me a picture of one of the candidates, being an advocate for trans rights and all that stuff. On the human level, it's rights are rights, but that also can stem from identity. Similarly, just like identity that my father has to be against it. So whether you're for or against something, it's the identity, it's duality. Technically, yes, because it's like for or against, but it's not acceptance, it's not giving over, it's not surrendering. That because we're in this life to grow and learn. It's the universe learning of itself. So really, the whole path that we all have is growing, learning. So it's an ongoing educational program. And that's what makes it, at least that's what can make it filled with joy and ease and lightness. And as I kind of mentioned a little bit in the previous video about my reintroduction of this, my channel and why I do things what I do, is expressing and learn about the lessons that I've learned. I continue to learn, of course, because I'm still awakening. There's still the process. And yet, the desire, I guess you can say desire, the pull, and the push, either way, towards beings. I mean, word can't show and explain what it is. It's definitely grown, to put it that way. But yeah, so today's video was more about relationships. So yeah, in my experience, it's in this experience, in this one, that it's been about power struggles and the not liking being told what to do, not feeling free, or being less free, or not as free, and there was always stress, and so it created a lot of, like, I guess you could say it led to a lot of dis-ease. And that's also why I have veneers, because I wanted to prove something, even when I do certain things, like why I got into education, why I did astrology, all those things. Many things were more like resonance. I resonated towards it because it was very interesting, not because other people were doing it. Music was something I was introduced to. I remember someone, I think it was the band teacher, who showed me like the instruments and thought, which one would you like? So, in a way, that could have been something I was led to do, but I was still I resonated with it. And so same thing with astrology, the water. Languages, culture, people in general. So, but having all this Plutonian stuff with growing in presence has kind of brought this, it's a culmination of this whole, like, now I'm able to set natural boundaries, you can say. Some are forced, some are like, some are egoic. I've sensed that, where it's just like, nope, I go like this, and the anger comes in, defensiveness comes in. But yeah, like, so as it's been said, suffering, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. But through that option of having suffering, you have to go through it. And I guess you could say I'm guided to go through it with a lot of fear and nervousness and tension. And yet, as I get more and more awake, as I awaken more and more, it's become a little bit less tense and intense. So now those are the gifts, I guess you could say, of having this experience. You could call it plutonium stuff, you could call it trauma. It's definitely it has helped awaken more than one might expect. The human level or unconscious level or not. And it's just, definitely more joy, for sure. Letting go has definitely been easier. And all those things, so.